Good evening. Anyan Hasayo. Namaste. Ambassador Vishnu Prakash, Dr. Kim, Mr. Kim, Mr. An, Mr. Edward Chen, Mr. Parth Sharma, distinguished friends. It is a singular, a unique privilege to be here today, and I am immensely grateful to Ambassador Vishnu Prakash for his very kind invitation and for his generous arrangements. As he mentioned, it's always very lucky to be at the right place and at the right time, but he didn't mention by the right person. I don't wish to embarrass him, one of the brightest specimens of Indian diplomacy. And India and Korea are now at the cusp of history of re-strengthening and rediscovering their relationship. By the way, as we all say, there is a bit of India in the DNA of Koreans. And there are as many Kims, maybe a few less, in India than there are Kumars in India like me. So I'm very delighted to get this opportunity, and in this presentation, I'll briefly try to run through what India is today, what India can offer, and what our Korean friends can do in India. As I said, India is at a stage of takeoff like never before, and I would strongly and warmly urge Korea to take the initiative. We would facilitate it, and before others also join the fray, let Korea be the torchbearer. So if I may, through this brief slide presentation, take you about what India is today and what India is trying to be. I've divided my presentation in 8 parts. Don't be frightened. I'll breeze through most of these slides to remain in time. So in the first few slides, I'll try to give you a brief snapshot of the country profile, the land of opportunities, our collaboration, the 12th 5-year plan which is currently running, and the rapid improvements in pro-investment policy regime in India, the investments, emerging sectors, and the conclusions way forward. It has been mentioned by my predecessor speakers just now, the GDP of India is today $2 trillion in purchasing power parity terms. It is expected to double in the next few years. It is one of the fastest growing market in the world. It is at compounded annual growth rate for GDP over the last decade is 7.9%, and this is in real terms. I'm sorry? My apologies. Am I audible? The GDP per capita is only $1,489, and this compares rather poorly with your GDP, I think, of $23,000, while in 60s, I believe you were in 2-digit figure. We are yet to catch up. Population is 1.24 billion, and as per the ILO figures, the median age is 25.2 years, and this is one of our plus points. We have a very good demographic dividend, and domestic saving rate is 33 to 35%. The relative importance in the global arena, well, we stand at number 4 with, as I said, $4.46 trillion in purchasing power parity. I think earlier I mentioned 2 by mistake. And I don't wish to denigrate Korea, but it is much ahead in terms of purchasing power parity. but it is a population due to which the per capita income is much lower. Land of opportunities. The impressive economic growth, as I said, has taken India to what it is today. The consumer market, as my predecessor speakers mentioned, by 2025, India will become 5th largest consumer market in the world. Demographic dividend, large, educated, young and economically active middle class. The growing rural market. In fact, the rural population is becoming extremely impatient. They want the best goods, consumer goods, and best services. Active interest of the government in investing and promoting FDI. In infrastructure, it has been mentioned, it's proposed to invest $1 trillion in next 5 years, and the sector-wise allocation is also extremely promising. There have been regular visits to Korea by Indian ministers, Prime Minister, Finance Minister, the President also came, Defense Minister, and as to mention, there is a comprehensive economic partnership agreement which has resulted in substantial growth of our relationship. Bilateral trade is targeted to be $40 billion US, and you can all be partners in this endeavor. Over 400 Korean companies are already very active in India. Some of them, Samsung, LG, Hyundai, and so on, they are household names. The number of Korean brands are extremely well known in India. Automobile sector, Hyundai has a market share of about 20%, next only to Maruti. In the electronics, LG and Samsung have a combined market share of 40%. Banking, infrastructure and construction, several are coming. In the 12th five-year plan, the focus is on development of infrastructure and manufacturing, and the components include in the national manufacturing policy to have a number of national investment and manufacturing zones with associated improved services and infrastructure and facilitative growth regime in terms of regulation. And they would contain production units, public utilities, logistics, and so on. In the five-year plan, which is going right now, 12th five-year plan, there are a few sectors of strategic importance like defense, shipbuilding, infrastructure, basic input steel, depth and value addition automobile, electronics, and then for employment generation, number of them, textiles, food processing, and so on. I am running through these slides so that I can focus a little more on the subsequent slides, which indicate the areas of interest at the present. There has been a new wave of reforms, and these reforms include relaxation and enhancement of FDI cap, the limit up to which the foreign direct investment can come into India in different sectors, the single brand retail up to 100%, multi-brand retail up to 51%, civil aviation 49%, power exchanges 49%, insurance 49%, and we expect the approval to come soon, pension fund 26%. Insurance today is 26%, but we hope it will go up to 49%. And to ease regulatory approvals, because there are often complaints about delays in decision making, government set up the highest body, a cabinet committee on investment for faster approval processing for large scale projects. And companies investing 18.5 million or more in plant and machinery from April this year for the next 2 years would be entitled to deduction of an investment allowance of 15%, which has been announced in this year's budget. There have been a number of incentives which have been announced for wafer fabricators including zero customs duty for plant and machinery. The Competition Commission of India, which I was privileged to be the first chairman about 4 years ago, it was set up to ensure level playing field and fair play, fair competition among the domestic companies and among the domestic companies and the foreign companies. It is operational with full powers, and the scope extends to review of mergers and acquisition and to facilitate that the mergers and acquisition process is not a bottleneck in any further growth. We had introduced a concept which we called File, Smile and Go, and also given a target to my friends in the CCI that we'll endeavor to clear 95% cases within less than 30 days. And I'm glad to say that out of the 100 odd cases which have come before them for M&A clearance, almost everyone has been cleared in about 20 days time on an average. In the last 3 years, CCI has taken assistance from FTC of USA, EC of European Union, and the OECD Korea-based center in their capacity building efforts. They have been transparent and efficient M&A proposals, and the facility also exists if there is any company which wishes to have informal consultations with the Competition Commission of India before formally filing the application. They can also do so without any payment and without any obligation. Investments. Total FDI in India is $280 billion at the end of December 2012. And the last year, April to December, witnessed an inflow of $27.2 billion, and this is in spite of the fact there has been a lot of talk about slowdown in Indian economy. Key sectors of FDI in India include transportation, electric equipment, metallurgical, fuel and services besides chemicals, construction and automobiles. But South Korea ranks 13th with an investment of $1.22 billion. Of course, as per the Korean Exim Bank, it is 2.6. But I want that this figure of $1.22 billion must substantially go up. There are a number of states which are very active, very keen: Maharashtra, Gujarat, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and so on. They are all favorite destinations for the Republic of Korea. Many other states are coming up: Rajasthan, Haryana, and many others. And the policy shift towards manufacturing and further improvements in pro-investment policy regime at present, as I said, this cusp of history offers tremendous opportunity for investment by Korean companies. The sectors which are there for Korean interest: the metallurgical industry, which have at the moment $275 million, then prime movers and machine tools, we are moving clockwise, electronics, automotive industry, and the other sectors, which is 45%. By the way, a hard copy of my presentation is in your papers. Sectors of emerging interest, and here I would like to take a few minutes to describe some of these sectors. I would place electronics as number one, which could be of tremendous interest for the South Korean companies. Communication and IT, infrastructure, which includes power, industrial corridors like the DMIC, rail, roads and highways, shipping and ports, defense, automobile and components. Electronics, which we call as the second sunrise in the country. Our demand for electronics across all verticals, and I have tried to describe in subsequent slides what are these verticals, it's likely to increase from $45 billion a couple of years ago to $400 billion by 2020. The new National Electronics Policy gives a number of incentives for domestic manufacturing, which would include preferential access in government procurement, and new electric fund has been created with an initial capital of 10,000 crores, approximately $2 billion, to finance new ventures, promote relocation of ventures to India and R&D in this sector. There has been a core advisory group of experts for this sector which identified 6 product groups for which there is huge demand in the market in India, and these include consumer electronics, where there are a number of items like set-top boxes, energy, smart energy meters, telecom, smartphones, education, electronic products for education, e-governance, service delivery, identification, smart cards. We all know that India has undertaken a very ambitious scheme of unique identification cards, unique identification facility where the entire population is to be covered, and financial services for micro ATMs. A bit of more detail about these emerging areas. The set-top box projected demand 200 million units in next 5 years. Government has approved providing digital addressable system throughout the country by December. Tamil Nadu state government, in fact, their own Arasu Cable TV Corporation has floated a tender for 2 million set-top boxes. Telecom equipment, and I would like to draw your attention for a minute here. The total number of subscribers in India is 950 million with a tele-density of 77%. By the way, I used to be Additional Secretary in the Ministry of Telecom in India in 2000 years, and at that time we had a tele-density of less than 3%. And we at that time targeted that by the year of 2010, the tele-density can go up to 15, from 3 to 15. But now we are only in 2013 and the tele-density has reached 77%. And it is growing phenomenally. Demand in 2010, $11 billion, projected in 2020, $34 billion. Today, the situation in India is that a poor man, a poor woman also, the priority would be bread, clothes, and a mobile phone. And the shelter on the roof would even probably take the next priority. LED market, demand in 2010, which was less than $1 billion, projected demand is around $35 billion in 2020. Decision has been taken to provide free 20 million LED lights to poor families. Excise duty has been reduced on LED lamps and LEDs, and certain duties fully exempted on LEDs used for manufacturing lamps. Automotive electronics, automotive sector is expanding very fast. Value of electronics in automobiles already is 20% to 40% depending on the automobile. It's growing very rapidly. 18 million vehicles, 2, 3 and 4, all vehicles combined, they were produced in 2010-11, and all these would consume, and the number is growing, electronic equipment. Medical electronics is another area where there is going to be a tremendous demand. Hearing aids, pacemakers and all kinds of medical electronics. The likely demand by 2020 is $5 billion. Computers, 17% increase in India's EC shipments in 2020, 12, while the world average is only 4.4%. Projected market by 2020 is $34 billion. Government aims to provide one computer tablet to every student under what is known as Akash scheme. And it's going on, distribution has already begun. But imagine what will be the demand of the computer components and allied stuff. And there are a number of state government initiatives, free laptops provided to students in Tamil Nadu and Uttar Pradesh announced, and it is going to be covered very soon. There is another scheme called Modified Special Incentive Package Scheme. It was launched in July 2012. Under this scheme, 20% subsidy on investments in capital expenditure in special economic zones, 25% in non-SEZ, incentives for 29 category of products including telecom and IT, etc. Reimbursement of countervailing duty on or excise for capital equipment for non-SEZ units. And some of these terms, in case you want any clarification during the Q&A, I will be able to clarify. I am only afraid that I should not be shown the 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute kind of a thing. Reimbursement of central she's already threatened me. Central taxes and duties for high-tech and high capital investment units like fabs. Electronic manufacturing cluster scheme is very interesting to have specific zones where they will be only manufacturing of electronics, and there are a number of facilities available. And as the ambassador announced, Rajasthan has already come up with a new scheme. Then incentives include a number of other things, preference to domestically manufactured electronic goods, and the government procurement on a preferential basis. That is only to indicate that if the unit is set up in India, then the entire government procurement, there will be a huge market. The size of Electronic Development Fund, as I said, is 2 billion, and the funds are used in a number of verticals for which what we call as daughter funds are allocated to catalyze more funds from private sources. Export incentives, considerable are available, 2 to 5% export incentives. Communication and IT, as I said, India is world's second largest telecom market, and the demand is growing very rapidly. And we are going to have a national optical fiber network and many other projects which would facilitate a number of new areas. A few special economic zones related to electronics. We all know about SEEPs and so on. And the facilities are a number of them, duty-free import and export. Sorry, I am rushing because the lady is threatening to pull me down. The power sector is another very, very promising sector. India needs every ounce of power. In spite of being the 5th largest electricity generation capacity in the world, facing major power shortages, annual demand is growing very rapidly, it's galloping. And we need renewable energy, we need nuclear energy, transmission, generation, distribution, trading, everything. And 100% FDI is permitted. There are a number of incentives which are available. Industrial corridors, Delhi-Mumbai industrial corridors, which provide a lot of avenues for investment. 7 townships, integrated townships, are to come up. And there are a number of other corridors which have been announced in the recent budget, like Bangalore-Chennai industrial corridor, Bangalore-Mumbai industrial corridor. Railways is another very interesting area where Korean companies can come forward, look at it. See, world's 4th largest rail network, and there are a number of avenues again, dedicated freight corridor, and so on. High-speed trains, bullet trains, roads and highways, number of them. major and ambitious projects are coming, and here I can narrate a small anecdote, half a minute, that some people feel that India takes a lot of time. Please don't forget that India is a democracy. I was secretary in the government of India in the Ministry of Roads, and we were struggling how to accelerate the pace of our road construction. And once there was a Chinese delegation visiting me, and we were discussing, and I asked them, how do you acquire the land? We were struggling with a number of stay orders on the highway acquisition. He was baffled. He said, what is there to acquire? Land is there, you go and construct wherever you want to. But in India, we have to follow a legal process. In a democratic setup, a strong judiciary, anybody can go to court and the court starts looking at it. Shipping and ports, number of avenues again available, which have been announced. And there is a proposal to set up 2 new major ports in Andhra Pradesh. And the other state costing more than $1.4 billion. Defense, again another avenue, 26% FDI is permitted. Defense avionics, defense electronics could be another area. South Korea has a number of technologies. Indian Defense Minister visited Korea and invited the Korean companies. Automobile and components, again as I said, is a tremendous area where the Korean companies can look at. There is a growth rate of 21% annually. In matchmaking and facilitation support, we can play the role of Pandit or Purohit in whatever best manner we can, from the point of view of the government, from the point of view of other agencies, CII, etc. exist. There is a government avenue, e-biz, electronic business, and there is another one, is Invest India. My colleagues who have come here with me from Ketan and Company, Mr. Bharat Anand and Mr. Sudeep Malik, they will also explain in what way they can facilitate. Conclusion, and the lady can rest in peace now. The way forward, India is at a juncture where induction of high-end technology is essential. We are extremely keen to invite investments with high technology in various areas. South Korea is seen as a lead partner, as a strategic partner for technical expertise to India, and we are also determined to provide better investment climate and facilitate it. Sectors which are just listed can provide a number of avenues. Many thanks for your kind attention. Wish you all the best. Thank you.